Hey everyone, this is Ryan at Love Farm. Welcome back. We're doing our 6th in the series of homestead hacks. And so today we're going to look at the chicken brooder, the ultimate chicken brooder. And I'll show you why in a minute. There's a lot of design factors that we took into consideration, including some simple automation to make this whole system work as well as it can. So stay tuned and we'll go through some of those, some of the things that we did to try and make this system the best, easiest, least expensive system you could use in your homestead.
Turn on the news and build a garden, just my neighborhood and me.
So here's our chicken brooder. We made this thing entirely from scraps from the homestead here at Love Farm. You can see in there we've got 2 windows. We use this intentionally to give the chicks enough light and to get them used to the circadian rhythm of day and night. So they go to sleep at night, they're up during the day. The shape of this is actually from the back end to the front is 8, and from the corner to there is 4. This will actually fit on a trailer. So if we wanted to take the chicks to be tractored on another piece of land somewhere down the road, we could actually put this chicken brooder on a trailer, and it's built sturdy enough to be able to withstand that. So we can put it on a trailer, take it to another piece of property, and take the chicks out directly into a tractor. And our tractor, the one we have so far, looks like that. It's a 12 by 10 square that gives them plenty of room to roam. So this brooder allows us to fairly comfortably raise 40 Cornish cross to 2 or 3 weeks. Last time we did it to 3 weeks. I'm hoping to get them out on pasture just a little bit before then, but we'll see how it goes this time. Some other thoughts in design, other than the size and things, is we actually used a flat roof. So you can see the roof here is totally flat. And I did that because we figure we'll never put it on a totally level surface. So no matter where we put this thing, we're hoping that the water will run off one way or the other. So it was actually intentional to do a flat roof. That also makes things a lot easier, not having to cut at angles and things. So it made the construction much more simple. We've also made this brooder incredibly easy to access. You can see we have the sliding window here. I'm going to shut that so they don't jump out. But this whole thing is an old storm door from the house. It was a double storm door. And so this actually folds all the way up. I'll see if I can get a little bit of a shot of that here. This whole thing folds up, and we've got a board that we can put under that holds it there. And we've also got latches so that the chicks don't get out and so that critters can't get in there. The other thing that we've done is inside, you can see we're using, those are wood shavings. We can also use wood chips, as long as the wood chips aren't too wet and aren't going to create humidity issues in there. We've used wood chips in the past, and those are free. And we've got piles of wood chips. So those work quite well as well. And even really little chicks, you'll hear some people say that they can't function on wood chips, can't walk around, and that's really not true. 1-day-old chicks do just fine on wood chips, and they actually really enjoy it. So under these wood chips or wood shavings that we put in there, I took scrap linoleum, so a chunk of very inexpensive linoleum from Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever. We put that down on the floor to make sure that the high nitrogen levels and the wetness from the water and things don't create rot issues on the floor. It also makes it really easy to scoop out with a flat shovel, so we can go in there and scoop out those chips pretty easily, put in new ones and spread them around. Another small thing that we did is once the chicks are big enough, you can get their water up off the floor. That keeps them from throwing wood chips into it. It keeps them from knocking as much of the water onto the floor and getting things all soaked and nasty. So suspending it by a few inches really helps a lot for both of those things with the water. And we may do that for the food as well, because you can see they kick a lot of wood chips into the food. But the water gets especially bad and nasty if it stays on the floor. They'll step in it, they'll poop in it, and they'll get things all wet and stinky. The last thing that I wanted to mention on this system is our automation. You can see a box fan on the window there, and our heat lamp right there. This is our automation system for the chick brooder. You can see right now inside the brooder it's 73 degrees, and at 80 degrees we have it set to turn off the heat lamp, and then we have a differential set so that when it hits 85 it actually turns our fan on. So this is our heat lamp plug, this is our fan plug. So anything below 80 degrees, the heat lamp turns on and stays on until it hits above 80 degrees, at which point this outlet or receptacle turns off. And then at 5 degrees above that, so at 85, we have this receptacle turn on. That way, if it gets too hot in here, the fan's running and they have air moving through, and it should cool things off for them and keep it regulated appropriately. And then of course, as the temperature drops back down, we have this plug turns off, and then when it hits low enough below 80, this one turns back on. And that box fan is then, it actually blows air out, not in, and it circulates. You can see there's some gaps in the roof, and we did that up high so we can't get snakes and things in, but that will pull air in from those spots along the roof, and then it'll pull through the container or through the brooder and out through that window through the fan. That way, if we get real hot days, you know, if the sun's beating on this, which we have it in the shade, so that's not often, but if the sun's beating on it, it just gets too hot in there, that fan automatically turns on without us having to think about it. The heat lamp automatically turns off without us having to do anything with it. We still come out and check because automated systems can fail, but it gives us a kind of a leg up to make sure that these guys are doing well, even if we miss it. Here is a quick bonus video on our chicken tractor for our broilers or our meat birds. This is basically a Joel Salatin style chicken tractor. We made this primarily with scraps from here on the farm. We have a tin roof, some tin sides, a couple of tin sides to keep them out of the sun if they want to be, but we wanted to make sure to facilitate a bunch of airflow. So we've got open sides as well, and an open area where they can be in the sun and sun themselves where and when they want to. You'll notice the Gatorade bottles and things around. Those are essentially insulators. We're keeping the electric fence off of the metal portions of this, and the reason we have that electric fence is because we've got dogs on the property that we don't particularly trust not to go after the chickens. And this could be useful a little lower for things like foxes or other critters that might get in. This is our only entry to the chicken tractor, and you can see down there we have a board that goes across the back. It's up about 3 inches off the ground, and another board here. This board and that board make a flat surface for us to put the water down on and keep them up off the ground a little bit. Just like with the brooder, having the water off the ground a little bit really helps keep it clean and keep them from making as big a mess out of it, and it lasts longer. We may implement something that hooks to a hose and autofills with a float valve this go around, but we haven't gotten there yet. So right now we're just using a regular waterer, and we put their feed on the ground right in there as well. So this thing gets moved at least once a day. Sometimes we like to try and do it twice a day, especially if it's wet out. And then you'll notice this board, that, like I said, it's about 2 to 3 inches off the ground. And what it does is when we're pulling the chicken tractor through the field, we pull it through like that. That board gives us the ability to bump the chickens without getting their feet caught. So it'll bump them in the butt, get them going, and but it won't catch their feet. What we were finding is that even if we pulled things really slowly, this board right here that's on the ground and part of the tractor, they would get their feet stuck under because it would hit their feet and they wouldn't move quickly enough and their feet would get stuck. So adding this additional board all the way across, a little bit in front of this board and a little bit off the ground, like I said, 2-3 inches off the ground, gives them a bump in the butt and tells them they need to move before their feet get stuck under it. The last bit of this that I was going to show you is right here. I've put on structural screws or structural fasteners. You can use bolts and things there, and we attach a strap to it. And then this strap comes out and attaches so this strap comes out and attaches to our tractor, and we can pull it through the field very slowly, a little bit at a time. I think one thing I forgot to mention is this is our door. It's actually our only entrance, and it latches there as well. It keeps out any animals or anything that wants to get in there. And then we have a heat lamp right in the middle, so they can go to it or get to the edges where they're away from it as well. But that plug is for the heat lamp. So we have the heat lamp hanging from right about there. And that way, if it's cold out, even if they're fully feathered out, they have a spot where they can go and keep a little warmer, especially at night when it's cool. And what we end up seeing them do is they'll kind of do a donut shape around it where they won't go directly under it, but they'll get the distance they need and just kind of snuggle up that way and go to bed. Well, that is about it for the Homestead Hacks video with our ultimate chicken brooder. If you liked it, or if you have questions about it, leave comments for us. We're happy to respond and reply and talk with you about the things that you can do on your own homestead, the way that you could implement this, even if it's a little bit different. Or I'd love to hear your criticism. Tell me what you think I could have done better or would have been a better idea. We'd love to hear from you. Our information will be at the bottom. You can click our links. You can visit us on Facebook, odyssey.com, youtube.com, pretty much anywhere you can find us. Love Farm TN. And we'd love to have you out to the farm too. We actually are doing what we're doing as an educational opportunity to give people ideas and inspiration for what they could do on their own homes. So if you're in the Middle Tennessee area or Southern Central Kentucky, you're not too far from us, and we'd love to have you out. So just find us on Facebook, message us. You can find ways to get a hold of us. I'm sure you'll be able to do that creatively. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and we hope you'll tune in next time.